Hello and welcome to the Empower Half Hour. I'm Bradley W. Skinner coming to you from Wyoming.
Go Y-O. I am Darren Pepper coming to you from the worldwide headquarters of Road to Awesome LLC, the beautiful, sunshiny, for now, Colorado Mountains.
And I am Frank Rudusky coming to you from Southern New Jersey in the Legacy Lounge.
Thanks so much for being here with us. We have an exciting episode today. First, for a little bit of a What's Good Wednesday, I got a great announcement I wanted to throw out there. My daughter, Emily, the reason I'm sporting the Wyoming University t-shirt today, she signed her scholarship and letter of intent. She got a full ride scholarship for 4 years even, to the University of Wyoming. So really excited about her, and she's going to be working towards dentistry, dental hygienist. She may change it to a full dental degree, but yeah, she's pretty excited about it.
Dude, that is so cool. And of course, it's UW. I mean, yes, you got to love that. Congratulations to your daughter, to you guys, your entire family, man. That is fantastic. And you know what? To have another poke in the group, gotta love it.
Maybe I'll have to go there. So
maybe
congrats.
Maybe so.
But I have to lay this out there. Congratulations. I mean, you guys are awesome. The whole Bradley Skinner family is amazing. But the most stressful time of my life every 6 months is when I'm in the dentist chair. I'm just saying, it's one of those white knuckle moments where I scratch out the foam on the side of the chair. They charge me extra, but hey, congrats anyway.
Thank you. Thank you much.
It's fantastic, man. It really is. I'm super happy for her, and I know she's going to just do a fantastic job there in Laramie, and she'll love being in Laramie. It's such a great town, and so that's really super, man. Really, so here's what I'm struggling with a little bit. So you and I got to have dinner together Monday night in Rock Springs. That was pretty fantastic to get to see you and Melissa.
It was.
You had just come from the Green River High School Awards, and I had just come from the Rock Springs High School Health Academy Awards, where I got to do the keynote speech and speak for my good buddy Bruce Metz. But you didn't mention that to me that night, so
I was.
Did you guys not know yet, or?
They did a signing ceremony and stuff today. So.
That's cool. That's very.
It was
cool.
Really cool. We'll post some photos.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I'll share a little bit of good news too. I did something. I did this live a couple hours ago, but I've been chomping at the bit, man, to tell everybody this. But my school board accepted my resignation last night. I am moving full time into the Road to Awesome world, my friends, and I am really excited about it and just cannot wait. And I'll be honest with you, you two guys inspire me so much, and you guys have been a big part of that. So I want to say thank you to the two of you guys for, just for being who you are and being two dudes that absolutely inspire the heck out of me. So thank you guys for all of that.
Well, I think obviously the next logical step is that the three of us need to collaborate on a book together.
Yeah.
Or my idea, the Winnebago and ramen noodles, and just travel across the country.
I don't know if I'll do the ramen noodles, but the Winnebago and the Empower Half Hour road trip around the world, dude, I'm in. Let's go.
Absolutely.
I am no longer bound to the school calendar, so I'm looking.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what, Darren, thank you for your kind words, and we appreciate you. What we've done, we've kept each other, I think, maybe off the edge of the cliff over the last 14 months. And you know what?
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to be, I want to say, awesome on this road of your next journey. But congrats, brother.
Nice. I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Well, let's keep the good news rolling. We have an amazing guest today.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I am super excited to have Bobbie French join us on the show today. Get Bobbie on in here. We'll have Bobbie tell everybody all about her. Bobbie, we're so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey guys, thank you. I'm so excited. I'm checking in from Central Massachusetts. I heard you all giving your location. I don't have a fancy legacy lounge or anything like that right now, but I'm excited. It's like I'm hanging out with the three amigos on Cinco de Mayo. It's pretty cool.
And I will send you a surfboard.
Right,
You can start your own legacy lounge.
It's just,
Congrats,
Frank has
Darren.
told us. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Frank has told the story many a time, and if you haven't heard it, it took a student to build him a skateboard to get him skateboarding. Yes. So, all it takes is one, and then before you know it, you would have your own legacy lounge, Bobbie. So, every week we watch Bradley's, set continue to evolve. I keep waiting for like a Transformer or something like that, or Iron Man to actually show up in the background at Bradley's house. So, hey, just
today's
you
low
start
key.
with one thing, and before you know it,
in the home studio today. So we're gonna start doing like where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I'll just pop up in different places around.
Right on. Well, it's always so much fun when you have your entire student crew, your stage crew that are helping you through the show. That's always kind of fun. So
it is nice when
next
year we're going to be able to go
like your makeup artist. We haven't seen that, but
powder.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
So Bobbie, tell everybody that that's watching. I think a lot of us, obviously we know you. We're excited to have you on here. I think most of the people probably know who you are, but just talk a little bit about Bobbie for a second here.
Well, let's see. There's so much to talk about. So, congratulations to your daughter, Emily. I have a son who just finished his sophomore year at Western New England University as a mechanical engineering student.
Wow.
I know I'm not old enough to have a sophomore, a junior. He'll now be a junior in college. So that's just crazy.
I got one too.
It's amazing. I'm also the mom to two amazing little yellow Labrador retrievers. And it's coming to be springtime in Massachusetts, I hope, so that I can get out and do some kayak fishing. When I'm not doing those things, I'm currently an education coordinator. I've also put in many years as an elementary principal. So these days I just call myself an educational leader and trying to learn more, do better every day to be the best I can for kids. So that's kind of me. I've not quite at the business level with Darren yet, but I do run a group called Lead, Learn, Hope. So there's a Facebook page and a Facebook private group. So trying to do a little bit more with that, just so that, again, any way that I can support and help educators.
And you also have a podcast too, correct?
Yeah, I should. I always forget to plug that part. So the Busy Principal podcast. So, I made it past, what do they say? The average podcast is 7 episodes. So we're getting ready to do lucky number 13. So, and that's going to evolve as well. A friend of mine said, just start. So I just grabbed the Anchor app and started. And so that's been a nice adventure as well.
Wonderful.
Just start. That's such great advice, right?
Yes,
that's
indeed.
We talk about that all the time, when it comes to writing a book, all three of us. Bradley's book is coming very soon from Codebreaker. His book, Yelling at Flowers. Did I say that right? It is Yelling at Flowers, right?
Correct.
Yep. Yeah. So Brian, we always have to give Brian a shout out, and we always have to talk about relationships on the show. Which you talked about actually like backstage before we even came on. So it already counts. But that's Brian's big advice, with writing a book is you just start. So I'm glad to hear that that's the direction that you've taken with the podcast.
It's great advice. It applies to so many other areas. Students that, I don't know how to write an essay. Well, just start. They want to pick up a new hobby. How do you begin? Just start.
Too many of us wait to have all the little details ironed out. And that would have been me, having the right name, the right logo, having all these episodes planned. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to start and I'm just going to do it, and things can change and evolve. So, just like with writing the book or the essay, you just have to start. It doesn't mean you have to know what you're going to do. And it doesn't have to be perfect to start with, but you have to, if you don't start, you're not going to finish.
Exactly. That's such a great piece of advice.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's a quote. Let's Bobbie, go back, put it on Twitter, say that again, hashtag it.
There we go. Yep,
well,
it's all about
absolutely.
Just start, because if you don't start, you're not going to finish.
Just
You heard it
start.
here
If you don't
first.
start, if you don't start, hashtag, you're not going. No, hashtag, if you don't start, you're not going to finish. There you go.
That's right.
It's a lot of characters, but it works.
Can we also do hashtag don't confuse Frank?
Yes, we can. Yeah. Yeah.
That one's going to be trending now.
Yeah, it will. It will. Yeah.
So
Hashtag Frank is confusing us. Yeah,
there you go.
that's what that is. Yeah. Yeah. But we love him.
With all the work, I love. So tell us again the title of the podcast.
So the podcast is the Busy Principals podcast.
Okay.
So, principals are busy. The episodes are short. I think my longest one is 11 minutes. So a lot of people love that if they have a short commute, they can listen. Like I said, it will evolve. I haven't started with guests yet. It's you get words of wisdom for Bobbie from my experiences, anything from habits to how to start your own March Madness tournament at school, so it kind of varies in the different topics.
Okay. So as we're nearing the end of the school year here, what's a piece of advice that you would like to share out of how to finish the school year strong? We hear that phrase often, finish strong, but what does that look like? How do you actually do that?
Well, and I think this year, Darren, you already mentioned that word relationships. It's making sure you still are focusing on those relationships at the end of the year. Everyone's going to get stressed if you're not stressed already, and I think kids don't know what this summer is going to look like, because it's going to be different, for them and where we're progressing with the pandemic. And so there might be a lot of uncertainty. So, so thinking about how you're going to leave the summer for the kids coming back. I think last year we didn't end things on a good note. Teachers didn't get to say goodbye to students the way they would. So I think finding a way to have some closure this year with kids while you can, but also making them excited to want to return when school opens again in the fall.
Great point. Yeah, I just remember looking back and just, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. And then other times it feels like it didn't even happen, like it was a complete eternity ago. But it was just such an abrupt stop. I think that was one of the issues that people really had. I know for me as a teacher, it was just how quick things just stopped on a dime, and we were required to make so many changes that those connections, those relationships felt like it was really struggling. And it was a challenge at the end of the school year last year because of just how different and how abrupt everything happened.
Yeah, and we're used to having a positive send off to our kids, for the summer. But, some kids thought, March 14th was the beginning of summer, because just how it abruptly stopped and things changed. And, and I think many educators, no one had a summer last year. They were worried about what was happening, learning new ways to do things, not knowing what school was going to look like in the fall. So my message to educators too is take time for you. You need to recharge your batteries so you can be ready for that group of students that you're going to have in the fall, because it's going to look different yet again. I think we don't know exactly what that will look like, but I think we all have to be ready and, and make those connections, those relationships, or keep them over the summer, or start early making the connections with your new class coming in.
Good advice.
I think one thing that you said that resonated with a lot of educators is they don't know what it's going to look like next year. However, that first day sends the tone for the rest of the year. So what is that first day going to look like? And the same thing for your faculty and staff. Your faculty is that they come in a couple days early, and a lot of students, a lot of people in the whole world don't even know that. Hey, we're working when other people aren't. But when they come in, what is that going to look like? I'm thinking faculty field trip.
I think that'd be awesome. Put them on a bus and take them on a field trip. Andy Jacks does that down in Virginia. He takes his staff off campus to have a great day. I used to take my staff to, trying to think what they call it, like one of those team building courses before school started. Yeah. We would do those and, do the different, the rope swing and, some of these different activities where you had to work together. So we would do that as a staff before the school year. And I think you need those sort of things now even more than you did before, Absolutely. And even for your students, I've always started the first day of school off with a pep rally. The first day of school shouldn't be boring. It should be exciting, and I think there's ways to do that depending on your restrictions. But it should be fun. So kids are like, wait, I want to go back to school the next day,
Absolutely.
Right.
And yeah, and go ahead, Darren.
I was just going to say, the thing about that first day of school is, that's like kids are never more ready to learn than they are on the first day. I mean, they're fired up, right? I mean, you've got kids. I mean, let's be serious. I mean, I would imagine that Emily, Bradley's daughter, and I would bet both of Frank's daughters. In fact, all three of us are girl dads. Every one of our daughters probably spent 3 weeks picking out the outfit for the first day of school. I mean, let's be serious, right? So, man, they're like totally ready to go. And your teachers are like never more ready to teach than they are on that first day. I mean, like if you think about it, and I remember when I was a classroom teacher, and Bradley, you don't have to admit to this since I was your principal, but like that first week's lesson plans are like the greatest things ever. And then like starting week 2, they become the weekly work of fiction. But I mean, everybody's so fired up. And so you want to really capitalize on that first day of school. And, we did some similar things at Rock Springs High too. When Bradley and I were together with, let's do a rally on the first day. Let's blow the roof off of this place and really get people excited and take advantage of that energy, And I think next year's an incredible opportunity for that, right?
Yeah. And find ways to do that. I wouldn't let, my staff don't go over rules, don't go over any of that boring stuff for the first 3 days of school. It was all team building, and we were a K-8, even to go up into those middle school classrooms, and the activities that they had planned. And it was team building for 3 days. It just really set the tone for those classrooms in that school year. The kids know the rules. You know what the rules are at school. I mean, if you have some routines you want to work on during those 3 days, but it was all about relationship building and putting that first so that you're going to get more out of it when you start to introduce the instructional components in those following days.
Yeah.
And I know that some teachers, even some in my own building, don't know how this is possible. I'm in my 20th year of education, and at no point in my career have I filled out a discipline referral or sent a kid to the office or kicked a kid out of class. And it's for that reason right there. Those first few days are all about relationship building relationships of trust, making sure students know that you care about them and you've created a safe space for them to learn in. And I've never had a problem with behavior ever. But you focus on hit up those rules, all the things that you can or can't do in your classroom those first couple of days. And you're wasting that time. You could be building relationships, and instead you're building walls.
And the kids, they want to be seen, heard, and valued, and when you're letting them, have these Lego building competitions on the first day of school in 8th grade, they're like, wait, what? But you're showing them that there's teamwork. I mean, and obviously there's parameters in which you're doing that, but it's so different, and having teachers just greeting kids every day. They need to know every day that you're happy that they're at your school or they're in your classroom. At my new school, it was probably a week in the school. I had a first grader come up to me and say, "Are you the one that gives high fives?" Like she couldn't remember that I was the new principal, but she knew I was the high five giver from being outside at drop off drop off in the morning every day. But those relationships, and it's not about classroom management. It's about classroom relationship building. And I agree with you, Bradley. I don't know how to shout it larger from the rooftop, but if you build those relationships with your kids and you listen to them and give them what you need, you won't have a behavior problem a day in your school career.
High fives and changing lives.
That's right. Let's tweet that out too. We'll hashtag that, Frank.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, we're back to Frank. But anyway, we used to do same thing, 20-minute assembly. Everybody's coming in. You know the rules. This is our new theme. This is our new service learning platform. All the other grades will come in. 8th grade will come in last, roll out the red carpet, standing ovation. I climb up to the roof and drop a gold ball like it was Times Square. Let's roll.
That's awesome. The best one we did is we had our teachers in teams, and they created banners and their walk-on song, and they walk up and bust through the banners, and then they did head-to-head cup competitions.
That's a great idea.
We did these cup challenges, and the teachers, the kids were cheering them on. It was pretty amazing. The teachers really got into it, and it was really, we were introducing them like they were in the WWE. It was pretty awesome.
That's fantastic. I'm totally stealing that idea. I'm totally stealing that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's
I
amazing.
totally love
It changes the
Yeah.
whole tone, and we started setting up a photo booth outside of school because the parents are going to take pictures that first day of school anyway. Why not, set up a photo booth, welcome it, and they're just so excited, and you can do that at all levels just because I'm elementary, I mean, talk about the high schoolers. They'll eat that stuff up too. They love a good pep rally.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they do.
Yeah. Yeah. We had some epic ones when Bradley and I were together. No question about that.
Wait, that makes me think, is it from your book that you weren't allowed to go do pep rallies at the high school anymore because your pep rallies were too good? That was somebody I was just listening to had like these amazing pep rallies. Might have been at a middle school then. And their high school said they couldn't come and use their high school anymore because they were showing up the high school.
Yeah, it could have been
Their pep rallies were too big. Yeah.
That does sound like Frank. It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Yeah, here we are back to Frank. Hey, anyway, Bobbie, you are amazing. So what's up next for you?
I don't know. I'm looking for that next big adventure, still working on the podcast. I'm doing some writing behind the scenes. I do write a blog right now for Teach Better. I actually wrote a blog for my own webpage recently, so I got to get back to doing that. And like I said, I'm running this Facebook group called Lead, Learn, Hope. I'm just trying to do, more just to support educators, because if I support educators, they're going to support the kids, and my other thing is just 1% better, just to try to be a little bit better tomorrow, than we were today. So anything I can do that way. And, I don't know, I'm just passionate. So if that hasn't come through, about making schools a place where all kids want to be.
Well, when you are ready for guests on your podcast, you've got at least 3 right here.
All right. That'll be awesome. Yeah. Working towards that. That'll be fun.
So Bobbie, I got to ask, I mean, I've been blessed with, over the last several months to be able to get to know you, a little bit better. And, you talk about the busy principal, as your podcast title, and it's like the perfect title because every time I talk with you, you're taking on something else. You are somebody who just, I don't know. It's like, I know I said something to you, I think last week about you just got to learn to say no at some point. But I know you are running for school committee in your town. So for those of us who aren't on the East Coast, school committee is school board for most places. Talk to us about why Bobbie French wants to be a school committee member.
Well, I've lived in this community for over 30 years. I worked in the district for my first 8 years as an elementary guidance counselor and teacher. My son went through the district, and, it's a regional district. So it's a one bigger town and our smaller town. And so I wanted to make sure that our town was really well represented and that we're doing the best thing we can for kids right here in my hometown. I do so much for other places and other schools, but I wanted to be able to serve my community in a different way. So I'm running for a seat for here, school committee or school board. And I think it'll give me another perspective in education that I haven't had yet. I'm not ready for that superintendent seat. So, we'll try something a little different, get that other perspective.
It's another opportunity to go to meetings, I mean, how do you top that? Right. For those who love to go to meetings, let's be on the school board. There you go. So I know we're going to jump into final thoughts here pretty quick because again, this is the fastest half hour of your week and we're already down to the final 5 minutes, but how can people connect with you with all of this stuff you're doing? How do they find Bobbie French?
So I make it really easy. It's Bobbie French everywhere. So Twitter, my website's bobbiefrench.com, Instagram, Facebook. And then, like I said, or you can find me at Lead, Learn, Hope. So that's where, I run a private Facebook group for educators. So we're always kind of dropping some great things in there. So yeah. And I love to connect with educators. So hit me up on Twitter, anything, I'd love to bounce any of these ideas off you or help you plan a first day pep rally would be awesome.
Wonderful. So
or last day of school pep rally, right?
Exactly. And it's not too late.
Absolutely.
If you're thinking of having one and you're on the fence about it, doing an end of year pep rally, just like the other things we talked about, just start. Go
That's
for it. It's not too late.
It's never too late.
Bradley and I had an end of year pep rally as part of our Renaissance program at Rock Springs High. And kind of similar to what Frank's talking about with, really celebrating his eighth graders. For us, it was, we celebrated our seniors as they were headed off to graduation practice on the red carpet. But then we would move our 11th graders over to where the seniors sat. So it was like this coronation. It's like, ooh, you are now seniors. And then we would do the same thing with the sophomores and let them come over into the junior spot. We would move the freshmen into where the sophomores sat. But then there's this like big void, right? And our eighth graders are out in the hallway and in they come. And so the last day of school, they're at the high school and they get to be part of, a big Renaissance pep rally and win prizes and get shirts and all this fun stuff. And, when you do those kinds of things to wrap up your year, I mean, just think about those kids. I mean, guys, we were all freshmen in high school at some point in time, and that's scary. It's not like, yay, I'm going to the big campus with all the big kids. No, I mean, but we always made sure that our kids walked away that day like, oh my God, I cannot wait to be at high school if this is what it's going to be like, and then you follow it up with what you talked about, what Frank talked about with those opening day rallies. I mean, it's like, holy cow, all they do here is party, man. This is awesome,
It's all about those relationships, and the funner you can make them, the better the rest of the year is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, Bradley, I think it's time.
I think, Frank, you got control of the...
Uh-oh.
My iPad died on me. I can step out of frame and do it.
I got to put on my glasses. All right.
This is much ado about final thoughts. But
okay, I guess Bradley, looks like you're up.
I guess it picked me first. Okay.
The random it did. Right on. Here we go.
I'm going to say my final thoughts are that when it comes really it's to anything, it's not just the rallies, it's not writing a book, it's not writing an essay. There's so many things within your day, even as an educator, that concept of just start is so important. And if you're thinking of trying to gamify your classroom, just start. If you want to do more critical thinking in your classroom, just start. If you want to do more project-based learning, just start. It applies to everything. And the more that we have an environment within our school where we have our leaders and our school leaders that have created and promote that environment of positive risk taking, that's going to make it so much easier for educators to just start the things they want to try. And it's going to trickle down and make it easier for students to be able to feel like they don't have to fear failure. They can embrace it as part of the learning process. And so creating that climate where you can just start without the fear of failure is so vital. So do it.
And did he drop the mic and just walk away?
He did. He really did. He set me up big time. So
I can't drop the mic. It's on a boom.
That's true. Yeah. Don't drop the mic. You'll have to buy a new one. I'll say this, my final thought for today. This is Teacher Appreciation Week. And I just got to tell you this, teachers, you don't hear it often enough. And certainly in the times that we've been going through, you don't hear it hardly at all. So, just allow me to say thank you for everything that you do. And not just thank you as a fellow educator, but thank you as a father. My daughter had an amazing experience in public education and really was propelled forward. She's going to graduate from college in a couple of weeks. And, that doesn't happen without educators just like each and every one of you watching tonight. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you do. You make a difference. You make an impact. You bring a human experience that doesn't exist anywhere else. And you matter. Thank you.
Oh boy, looks like I'm up before you, Frank. Glad you get the last word. But no, I just want to kind of piggyback on what you said, Darren. Teachers have been giving it their all for more than a year now. We know they didn't take the summer off last year. We know you're tired. We know you're exhausted, but keep going. We appreciate the work you're doing. Keep making those relationships with kids and send your kids off this summer on a positive note so that you are all ready to come back stronger in the fall.
As my friend Tiki Man once said, those who can teach. And everyone else wishes they were a teacher because they think all we do is get off early and have summers off and weekends and nights. But that's crazy. If you've accomplished anything in your life, then thank the teacher. And fun is not going to be a component of all 182 days during the course of a regular school year, but it will be a component of your school and of teaching if that climate and culture matter. Bobbie, thank you for being a guest tonight. Peace and love always win.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for being
Have
here.
a road to awesome week, everybody.
And last thing I do want to say is if I would have known that Frank was going to bring out that tiki doll, I would have had the sound effect from the Brady Bunch ready.
Whoa. Don't jinx my tiki man. Don't jinx him.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Empower Half Hour. We'll see you next time.